Good morning, YouTube. How are you this morning? I am not too bad, all things considered. It is 11:30 a.m. Central Time, and I am in Natchitoches, Louisiana, at Weyerhaeuser Building Products. When we talked yesterday, I was at Clark loading non-structural steel building supports. Basically, there are studs and stuff for holding sheetrock that are used in homes that are non-structural based. They're lighter and don't attract termites, obviously, because they're metal. And they pretty much replaced wooden interior walls and things like that in most homes. These new builds nowadays, where they can get them, they're a little more expensive, but they last a lot longer. So quality builder will use them. When I talked to y'all, I was waiting to get loaded. I guess it was around 3 o'clock. They finally pulled me back into the loading area at, I think it was 4:30. So I sat there about an hour and a half. And then I waited a while. And then they put like 2 bundles on my load. Maybe 3. And then the place vacated. Apparently they're a union shop, and they all take their break at the exact same time. No notice. There was a little buzzer, and then whoosh, the place was empty for half an hour. Well, I heard the buzzer again, and then they slowly moseyed back, and then the loader that was loading me finally started loading me again. I finally got out of there. I believe it was, if I remember right, it was 6:30. Yeah, it's about 6:30 when I finally got loaded, got secured, got my bills, and got out. And I was really kind of sweating the load, or sweating the time, because after I had arrived there, they told me it wouldn't be very long. So I was looking at what I was going to do, and I knew I was going to go to Greenwood, Louisiana. So I went ahead and called PFJ and reserved a parking spot, because that's a really busy PFJ, a really busy Flying J. And thinking, I'll get there, no problem. Man, oh man, oh man. I got out, and I had 3.5 hours on my clock left when I was leaving, and it takes about 3.5 hours to get to Greenwood from that part of Dallas. So I took off. I had to stop several times to do load checks, because that aluminum or steel is real thin, and you can't tighten the straps down much, so they have a tendency to get really, really loose. And with the wind yesterday, as the trailer was moving back and forth, of course the stuff moves, and it moves closer and closer together, closes up the gaps because the straps are pulling on it, so they get loose. I think I made my final really good tightening somewhere past Terrell, and it stayed finally. But I got into the Greenwood last night about 10 minutes to 10. Really late for what I like to do. Parked the truck in my spot. It was the last spot on the whole parking lot. I mean, there was nothing left. Even all the illegal spots were gone. Went inside, took a shower, and I forgot that store no longer has a Subway. They had a Denny's and a Subway for a while, but the Subway is gone. It's just a Denny's and their deli counter now. So, because the Denny's expanded. So I ended up coming back to the truck and having some soup and crackers, and then I passed out after I uploaded the video. I mean, it's all there was to it. I woke up this morning at 7:45, about 15 minutes before my alarm went off at 8. Got up, did my stuff, and then headed on over. It was about, I think it was about 12 miles or something like that to get over to the RSI this morning. Pulled in, and then realized I didn't know it. They have 2 different facilities. They're right next to each other, but the address is all one. So I pulled into the main facility and ended up having to back out and then go down to the next facility to get rid of that steel. So I'll have to remember that in the future, that RSI has 3 plants. They have a lumber plant, they have a shingle plant. Well, it's not plant, store. Lumber, and then shingles, and then aluminum, steel building supply. So it's pretty not a very big place, but they're very segregated. You can't drive around between them. So after I got that, I was getting ready to head off and go park at the McDonald's. There's a McDonald's around the corner from RSI. And I was going to go over there and park to wait to get a load because I hadn't gotten anything yet. But just as I was pulling out on the main street, I did get a dispatch to come here. It's about an hour and I guess it's maybe an hour and 10-minute drive to get down here. This load is going to Lewisville, Texas. It's due tomorrow. With how notoriously slow this place is, from what I understand. I mean, I've never loaded at this facility, but I've heard they're notoriously slow. I should be able to, get loaded and get going. I won't be able to deliver it today because they stop receiving at 3 o'clock, but I have a fixed appointment for 7:30 in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head on in and park at the TA in Terrell, which is an hour from where I'll be delivering, roughly, because I don't want to go all the way to Atomic because that would be out of route, even though I kind of drive right by it. To go through Dallas from here, I'd go take 635 around and take the express. But if I go downtown to where I park my truck, it would add like 25 or 30 miles. This load pays pretty decent. It doesn't pay as good as an El Dorado load, which I thought I would get. But that's okay. That's okay too. So I don't know. Kind of I feel good. I'm happy today. Not having any problems. I'm just kind of in a weird frame of mind as far as coming up with what to say today. I do need to talk to my fleet manager about getting my truck in for service. I'm starting to have a little bit of problem with my air compressor. It's making a weird ticking noise on occasion, not very often. And the last time I drove a truck, it did that. It lasted about 5,000 more miles, and then the air compressor went out, so I had no air. We don't want to have that problem, because I owned the truck at that time. It cost me $1,800 to fix, and of course it was a roadside repair. I didn't tow it in. They came out, checked it, went out, got a compressor, came back, put it on, and then I had to go to another service center to have my brakes worked on because they locked up. And the air, when the air failed, they slowly compressed my braking system and ruined one of my drums. So that's it. I was kind of hoping maybe go to Little Rock to get a new trailer, but that's not going to happen. So I'm stuck with this one for a little while longer. Not sure I'm going to have anything tomorrow, but we'll find out. I guess I'll talk to you later. Once I get down the road some, maybe things will change. You never know. Good evening, YouTube. How are you this evening? I am not too bad. Lovely day. It is 6:45 p.m. Central Time, and I'm in Terrell, Texas, at the TA I-20 exit 503. Let's see. Last we talked, I was in Natchitoches, Louisiana, at Weyerhaeuser, sorry, getting loaded. I was there about 3 hours. It didn't take all that long to get in. I waited about 30 minutes before they called me in the gate to go back and get loaded, and it took about another, 45 minutes, almost an hour to get loaded. I'm carrying 12 40-foot, 12 40-foot structural beams, and they're all wrapped up. What took so long was he took his time loading it, because he put their own special timbers on the deck. They're special timbers. We can't use our own. They put timbers on the deck and then set them down, and he put 3 bundles on, and then I had to throw gut straps over them, and then he put more on top of it. They're not very tall. They're only about maybe a foot 18 inches tall, but it just took a while. And then after that, once he finished strapping it down, and then I had to go to the tarpon bay, and they got a a tarpon bay with one of the lifts to do the tarps for you and everything, but it's a little bit different than I've used before. It doesn't have a remote control like all the others. It's got a little switch on the wall, and you got to run over and straighten it and run back and move the switch to move it some more and straighten it. Yeah. And the winds are really howling. Those bays happen to be facing from northwest to southeast, and the wind was blowing from the northwest at about 35 miles an hour. So just as you get it set, the wind would gust up and blow through that tunnel and just screw up everything you did. So it took me like almost an hour and a half to get my tarps on. And but it is a good looking tarp job. I will give it that much. It's nice and even. And I took off. Went up to the Blue Beacon by the Petro at exit 8 on I-20 there in Shreveport. Got in line and got the truck washed. I really needed it. It had a lot of mud on it. Well, dirty. I hadn't washed it since like the 13th or 14th of last month. And it was a beautiful day, so I decided to get it washed. And I had driven through a bunch of mud the last couple of trips, so it was just nasty looking truck. Got it washed, and then got some lunch, and then headed on over here. Got plenty of time left on the day. I could go all the way there, but they don't allow overnight parking. And I had thought about going to the Home Depot store that's like a block away. But then I remembered that store up delivered to it up there in Louisville. There's not a lot of parking space for overnight trucks. They allow us to park there overnight. I could get away with it, being a Maverick and a Home Depot store, but I didn't want to risk it, and there was really no point. So I've stopped here. Got here about 10 minutes ago. Getting ready to go inside and take care of some personal business, and then come back out and relax. Get up at 5:30 in the morning and get out of here before 6, so I can be there for my 7:30 in the morning appointment. That early in the morning, the traffic's not too bad. And I'm going to be taking the 635 Express around town, which is pretty much the shortest route, so it shouldn't be all that bad. And then not sure what I'll be doing tomorrow after that. I'm hoping they give me one more load with the local delivery or something like a Home Depot local, or maybe even run down to Midlothian and load something and deliver it local before I go home for the weekend, because this weekend's really thin on the ground. Not starting until Tuesday, because it's kind of hurt me a bit. So, because I was at Home Depot on Monday, and those don't pay. That didn't pay very well. So that's pretty much about it. It's gonna be a nice evening. So like I said, I'm gonna go inside and take care of some business. See if I can find me some new window screens. That make screens that you can put in the window, so you don't have to let the air through. It's such a nice. I like to have another set. I have a set, but they go to a Columbia and they don't fit this Cascadia. So, oh well. And then that's it. Come back and maybe play a little Ghost Recon. I don't know. Maybe I'll just read. I haven't decided yet. I've already eaten dinner, so I'm good to go. So that's it for the day. I hope you had a wonderful day. I had a pretty good day. It wasn't all that bad. Didn't even really work up a sweat today, unfortunately. So, until tomorrow, keep the shiny side up, 73s. Be safe.